Their city administrators visited. He's young.
Boy, he's already
Next year is good for the
Oh, I never
You were the first, you were the Bible.
Everybody wants to be us.
First time I went out there. The mountains in the back are hard for me to visit out there.
Right.
We were big fans of the show.
Oh, yeah.
There was one episode where they
Right.
remember the Angels play. So they were ready. I'm always.
Good evening and welcome everybody to this City Council meeting for the month of February for Mount Vernon. And we'll start the meeting by calling it to order and then moving to approving of the agenda. And the agenda that was sent out, we got one addition, and that was in the paragraph on officers that were sworn in. A second name was added, Officer Franker was to be added to that. So there's one change to the agenda, but any other comments about the agenda?
Are you referring to the minutes from?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the minutes from last
Okay.
meeting, I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Yep. With that note, I would move approval of the agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda with the one addition. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The motion carries. I'd like to welcome all the scouts tonight to our meeting, and thank you for being here. Good luck on progress on your badge. Communication section of the meeting. This is where if anyone is here to address the City Council on subjects pertaining to tonight's meeting agenda, you can just wait until that point, and there are agendas in the back. And if you're here to address something that's not on the agenda, and now would be the time to approach the microphone, just introduce yourself, your address, and you have 5 minutes, I think, max to make a case. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Copeland, and
Is the light green there?
it's not.
Okay, just push the button.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Sherry, thank you for stepping up. Tom, I was hoping to see you in a different capacity, but here we are. So, in any case, my address is on file, and all of you know my situation. I'm going to be really, really brief, and I will need some help here because some really weird things have been happening with the city bills, and I have just received mine. And actually, Leah and I communicated around the 15th or so, and I was informed that for whatever reason the bills went out really late this month. However, I just received mine. Apparently, mine was sent to an non-existent address, and then it was floating around, and it was not able to be forwarded. And then we also had the situation where usually my bill is put into an envelope to protect my privacy. It wasn't in an envelope this time around, so my physical address, which is protected information, was clearly visible here. So I would like us to address this once and for all so that I don't have to keep coming here and, share my grievances with you guys and waste everybody's time. There is also one quick topic that I wanted to share with you all. And so if you take a look at my last month's bill, whatever I wrote a check for exactly that amount, and it was paid in full. Imagine my surprise when I received this bill now, and the very first item is PB, which I assume is previous balance. It's not written in the explanation here, so I can only guess. And it says $50. Well, if you compare these two, I paid the bill in full, so why am I being charged now? Previous balance $50. And then once I lift this and I start looking at everything, there is another line here that the code is MS. And MS is again not on the explanation of the code for another $50. So I assume that that's that item that I've been fighting for not having the smart meter, which I absolutely refuse to have installed. So that's just something I wanted to talk with you guys about, because if I'm being charged $50 for the last month, even though I paid the bill in full, and $50 another penalty or whatever you want, I call it an extortion fee, but that's just my version of it, another $50, those two items are about the same amount as my total bill. I think that's ridiculous. So where I'm going with this is, I know that Lori and Chris explained to me that it's expensive to send a person out to read the meter and all of that. I get it. However, I mentioned in the past that I also opted out of smart meters with Alliant Energy. And so they physically came and removed the smart meters and they installed non-transmitting meters. And my health, it has been improving, which is really exciting. It's been about 6 months now. My tinnitus has subsided. I'm not as dizzy. I don't have so many headaches. I just feel so much better. One can say it's placebo, it's all in your head. I don't care, I feel a little bit better. And where I'm going with this is that Alliant Energy is charging me less than $7 a month to opt out of 2 smart meters, versus $50 a month to not really opt out, but just have a penalty here. So where I'm going with this is, Alliant Energy is estimating my bill as of now, because I have established a period of time, they have an idea about what the energy usage is, and then twice a year they are going to come out and de facto read the meters and then just take a look and see, does it need to be adjusted up or down. What I would like to propose here is, instead of sending somebody from the city to read my meter every month, would it be possible to read it maybe once a season, or at least every other month? I think that based on my participation in the local grid here with utilities, we have a very good idea about what's normal for my family in terms of water consumption, and then I know that there is a percentage then that goes for sewage and different fees and all of that, garbage and recycling, that pretty much stays the same. So for me as a consumer, that would be much more affordable if I'm not being forced to pay $50 a month, which is roughly 50% of my whole bill. And then it may just be easier for the employees of the city to not have to physically go to the location, read the meter and everything. So I'm just wondering if it would be possible to do a prorated and estimated amount. My bill is roughly $100 a month or so. Maybe during the summer it's a little bit more because I'm watering my garden, maybe $110 or something like that. But I'm kind of somewhere in that range, around $100. So that is just something that I wanted to throw out there. And with that, I would like to finish. I also just wanted
You need to wrap it up here, please.
Yeah, I'm wrapping up. I just wanted to say that in many communities around the country, not only that they have official opt-out plans and fees, but also some of the utility companies have medical forms where people can fill out the form form, take it to their provider, their physician, and the physician signs that it's not in the best interest from the medical standpoint for the person to be exposed to those electromagnetic frequencies. So I would just like to see if the city would be willing to consider something like that, if I and maybe other people who may be negatively affected from the physical, from the health standpoint, to, just work with us. So thank you so much for your time, and maybe, I don't know, Lori or Chris, maybe we can take a look at what happened over here. Maybe I can stop by tomorrow, pay my bill, and figure out what's going on with these goofy addresses here. Thank you all so much, really appreciate it.
Good. Anybody else here talk about public comments? For that. Okay, then we will move on to the consent agenda. Basically just the minutes from the last meeting with that one adjustment. Anything else to pull off?
I would move approval of the consent agenda with the adjustment to the minutes.
Thank you, Paul.
I'll second.
Paul Scott, moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda with the minutes of the last meeting. No other comments, or ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Next is ordinance 119-2026B, amending the Article 10, sign regulations of the municipal code of Mount Vernon. Second reading. Option proceed to third reading. Heard there were no other comments.
I would move to approve ordinance 1-19-2026B, 2026B, approving the second reading and proceeding to the third reading for sign regulations in the municipal code.
Thank you, Craig. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Give it to Shereen there. It's been moved and seconded to move forward with the second reading here. And if there are no other comments or questions, we're ready to vote on that. Lori, you would call.
Turler,
Yes.
Hanson, Claire,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Andreessen,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
And that second reading passes. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution 22-2026A, approving the City of Mount Vernon affirmation, affirmative fair housing policy.
Excuse me, Tom.
I'm sorry.
Point of order. Craig, was your motion to do the second reading and then move to the third reading?
No, it was as written, Paul, motion to approve second reading and proceed to the third reading.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I interpreted that. Okay. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. We head to resolutions for approval. We've got City of Mount Vernon affirmative fair housing policy.
This is in response to our CDBG grant that we received for the generator at the LBC. We went through a similar process when we received federal money for PB as well, as far as amending our purchasing policy. So this requirement is part of that $100,000 grant award. So we will adopt the policy and we place it on our website. Take the slide.
So that was the basis for it. Thank you.
Okay.
I would move approval of resolution 2-2-2026A, approving the City of Mount Vernon affirmative fair housing policy.
Second. Paul and Mark moved and seconded to move forward with the resolution 22-26A.
Before we go, just, it is nothing to do with fair housing, but you brought up the generator. It's delayed because the installation's delayed, is that correct?
So the installation was delayed because of the weather.
Okay.
I think the day that they had chosen it was
Negative 40.
yeah.
They didn't want to be up on the roof installing your
Well,
generator. That's fair.
it'd be on the ground, but
Either way.
either way,
It was outside for a number of hours.
Yeah.
The delay really is more to do with scheduling to ensure that we pick one of the slowest days that we have at the LBC and can match it with Alliance and the contractor. So Alliance always the kind of the linchpin and all of that, trying to get them coordinated to be there as well, because they have to shut the power off and then be there to turn it back on.
And we don't want to do that when we've got a full weekend of basketball. or
Right,
something.
and classes and activities
Okay.
and busiest time of the year, so
Okay.
January wasn't ideal, but we needed to get that done so that the grant could be finalized. So we've actually pushed it to March 6th, which is the least day of impact, and hopefully we won't have any negative 20 to 30 to 40
We
degrees.
still do at that point, we gotta make it
Yeah.
around. Okay.
I'm going back to California.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. They, not, obviously not germane to this, but since it was brought up, I wanted
Mhm.
Sure.
to get an update, so.
I have a question referring to it. Did we not have a fair housing policy? Did the city not have a fair housing policy prior to this?
No.
Hmm.
Which is, I should say, is not necessarily unusual for small communities, but we did not have a standardized policy like this, no.
Any other questions or comments? The motion on the floor has been seconded. I think we're ready to vote on it.
Andreessen,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Hanson, Blair,
Yes.
Engel.
Yes.
That resolution passes. Moving on to considerations of claims list. Motion to approve. We can pull off. Comments?
I'd move approval of the claims list as presented.
Mr. Ball, is there a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded to approve the claims list. And that's a voice vote. If we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of that motion, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next motion for approval is discussion and consideration of the 5-year IDOT city maintenance agreement. Council action is needed. I noticed the start date for this process, and I didn't see a start date for the verbiage of it, but not a start date for construction. Is that still?
No. This is just a maintenance agreement. This is something that gets done every 5 years as it relates to highway.
Okay. Should we-
So it's who deals with the curb versus who deals with the.
It just outlines,
the road?
yeah. Basically, the DOT just tells us, this is what we're going to do. If you want it done differently, you can do it on your end.
Thank you for that. Other questions about the agreement with Department of Transportation?
I move approval of the Iowa DOT 5-year maintenance agreement between Iowa DOT and the City of Lombard.
Thank you, Scott. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Shereen. Moving second to move forward with the 5-year IDOT city maintenance agreement. And if we're ready to vote on that with no other questions, it's a voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. And opposed? That motion carries. Next is discussion and consideration of moving the February 16th city council meeting to Wednesday, February 18th. As we've done in past years. Is that date still good? As we last talked about moving it to Wednesday?
It is for me.
Choir's not moving? You're good?
Choir's on Tuesday.
Okay, we're still good there, all right. We're good.
And this is due to President's Day on the
Yeah, yes.
16th,
Correct.
Monday the 16th.
I would move,
Sorry, I might be traveling for work, so I might be zooming in
Okay.
that night.
I would move approval of moving our city council meeting from February 16th, 2026 to Wednesday, February 18th, 2026.
Second. Craig and Mark, moved and seconded. Moving forward with that. Nathan, hopefully the sun's catching that as well, so aware of that. Should be changing in past years. I think we're ready to vote on that date change for that second meeting in February. All in favor of this motion, please say aye. And opposed? Motion carried. Next is discussion and consideration of purchasing a speaker system for the Chalk the Walk event and other city events. Council action is needed. Matt, do you have anything to lead us on with here, or?
Nothing other than my memo just states, this is a fairly old system we currently use, it's failing. It's just, we've tried several different options of changing the microphone wires to everything we can think of, and so it's about time probably to look at this as a change.
It's 10 years old, right?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
I think it's 12.
Yeah, I remember when we got it.
Yeah.
What will happen with your system?
One speaker still works, so I think we can still use it at the pool, probably for theme nights, something like that, or we could look at gov deals and maybe sell it that way. We haven't really made a decision on it yet.
Now, if we
I'll let Chris decide.
Well, I was gonna say, if we move forward to seek to sell it through gov deals, then we just ran through a resolution. Council can decide if they want to keep it or not, but we try to use, reuse, repurpose what we can, and then when it reaches that age, we just
I think the pool idea is a great, that as I keep transporting back and forth.
Yeah, they use it now, but I don't know, one speaker is still good enough to do what they need to do, so we'll have that conversation. If not, they use the new one, right? So, but I agree, transporting it sometimes is an issue.
Any other questions of staff? Ready to move forward with the motion?
I would move approval of the purchase of the new speaker system as outlined in Matt's proposal, not to exceed a price of $2,200.
Scott, is there a second? Second. Mark. Move and seconded to move forward with the speaker system for truck to walk and pool and so on. And if there are no other questions, ready to vote on that? All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Good luck with that process. Next item concerns the Cemetery Commission. Discussion consideration of setting a public hearing date to identify 10 gravestones for stabilization.
So the first step in this process is to set a public hearing date, give people an opportunity, if they're related to these individuals, to do the work on their own, or object to the work being done on the stones. Once a public hearing notice is in the paper, you hold a public hearing and identify the stones. Then the city can move forward, the cemetery commission can move forward. I will say, I just wanted to point out, they're seeking $2,700. I talked to Mary today. I do not have $2,700 to readily available to give them. So what I did say is that the public hearing is good. We can go through that process. That way, if there is money left in the individual line item where we could, they could still maybe do that this spring, otherwise they have to wait till next fiscal year.
So the way this motion is written is not for a public hearing. Is that okay?
So,
Do you want to slow walk the public hearing date because of the financing?
We're considering setting the public hearing date.
yes, verbiage wise, it's just, I worked it a little different this time.
Well, but it says the commission is requesting approval of these funds to proceed with the necessary work.
Oh, no, the agenda is worded right. The report, they requested both, but it's set public hearing date according to your agenda.
Say that again?
The agenda is asking, that discussion and consideration.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
So that's what you need to actually do
The
tonight.
agenda
The
versus.
$2,700 was to let you know that they will also be requesting those funds. I did let them know today that I don't know where I'm going to try and find those funds.
Yeah.
There we go.
So it was kind of the set public hearing date is the most important. They need to do that at a public meeting and have an ad in the paper before they can touch the stones.
So is the 18th okay?
No, it will be for the first meeting in March.
The second.
Yes, because the notice has to be in the paper for a couple weeks.
Do we need in the meantime to have signs up by those stones to protect ourselves in case anyone
So
gets hurt?
we talked about that today. They're not the way that Mary described it, they're not in imminent danger of falling. She basically said that they were the most likely to have something occur in an event, and you just can't predict when it's going to happen. The stones have been this way for quite some time, so theoretically, we should be good until at least July as is, but it depends on Mother Nature and other events.
Right, but if someone's walking to the cemetery and something
Um,
happens,
So, no, you would have to, like, the signs are not, you would have to be immediately adjacent to them for that to happen. I just don't believe that putting a sign up is going to be, here's the problem that I have with that, is there are other stones in the cemetery.
so if we put up one, we've got to put up tons of stuff.
And I don't know where to start and stop.
Actually, though, I think Shereen raises a good point, and we should bring this up with Mary and the commission, because there is a sign at the entrances about cleanup and hours and so on, and to have a little disclaimer there that you enter on your own risk. This is an old place, old stones. Maybe broach that with her and the commission.
Sure.
We have a cabin property with lots of large boulders, and we are not there all the time, so we have just put up signs to just say, large boulders, do not climb on them, so that if anyone does, that our insurance, we don't have to cover anything.
So, what's the nice part about being a city, the state has given us a kind of an umbrella get out of jail free card, per se. It's the same thing, it's the same reason we don't necessarily put a sign up for the sledding. So we put the barriers out or parks.
Or the parks.
It's just assumed on properties that you enter at your own risk. Now, if there are identifiable hazards, meaning cliffs or things like that, the city does have to go through at least the process to make that as safe as they can, but it's implied. We could definitely sign them, it's just, it's a fine line on which side you go on that.
Yeah, before we put up signs, we want to check with the commission, because they're just working on that, I believe.
With that, I would move setting a public hearing date for the gravestone restoration for our first meeting in March.
Thank you, Scott. Is there a second?
I would second that.
Thanks, Shereen. It's moved and seconded to move forward with the public hearing date to identify the 10 gravestones that need stabilization with discussion with Cemetery Commission. You understand the motion, if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. And opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and consideration of pay application number 3 on the Richard Street improvements.
Nothing too exciting, the pay applications in the amount of $133,482.76.
Assume not much has happened in the last couple of days out there, right?
Now, this is number 3. Did we?
Yes, now we're caught up.
We're, okay. All right.
We're in the rhythm.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. Just
Yes, it's
We
a
should
lot.
be good.
making sure, well, I know, right? I don't, me and numbers are a tenuous relationship at best. All right, with that, I would move approval of pay estimate number 3 for the Rachel Street improvement project in the amount of $133,482.76.
Second.
Moved and seconded to move forward with the application number 3 on the Rachel Street improvements. If there are no other questions, we're ready to vote on that. All in favor of paying that application number 3, please say aye. And opposed? Motion carries.
Since we have a specific group in attendance, could I get a small civics lesson?
Absolutely, yes.
And welcome to the Scouts. Thanks for being here. Something that always confused many people is the way we have some of our votes. You may have noticed that when we voted on resolution, we had what were called roll call votes. Our assistant city attorney would ask each of us individually by name how our vote was. We voted yes or no, or aye or nay. And then in the case of the motions, we voted by voice vote. Ordinances and resolutions, which carry the weight of law, are required to have voice votes. So that's why you were seeing that. Motions do not have the weight of law. They're more business transactions. For example, when the mayor asked us to approve the claims list. Claims are simply bills that are owed by the city. We're approving that we're going to pay the amounts that they've come in. So that's why you see the difference in both. If you have additional questions, you can talk to any of us, City Hall, or I'm sure some of your leaders will be able to help you with that. But that's why you're seeing us vote differently for different things. Thank you, Mayor.
Tacking just one quick thing onto that, one thing you might have noticed during the resolution is Lori read our names in a varying order. So for resolutions, when it is a voice vote, they'll rotate through so you're not always the first one voting, so that you, theoretically, so that it doesn't influence which way you might vote. You might be first this time, last next time, that sort of thing.
It's for the additional info, Scott.
It's a very real concept of the power of the first vote or first person to commit. Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if that's no problem. Moving on to reports, Mayor's report. Probably comment on 2 or 3 things. First of all, a shout out to Public Works. Elvin's not here tonight, but a lot of communication with regard to a water main situation in front of King Chapel on Thursday night, if I remember correctly. Not a great time to be dealing with water main, especially since the location of it was somewhat suspect and so on. But I got another email of thanks today from Kerry Morgan, head of facilities there, and I have another one from VP Finance.
Rob Levis?
Rob, yes, over the weekend about that, but they were very appreciative that we got on it, and that Elton was able to find it, and Alex, I guess, was probably most closely involved with that, so. Shout out to Public Works. Second thing, the legislature's in session now. I'm on a legislative Zoom call every other Friday, number 1. I will also attend the monthly legislative panels that are at Cedar Rapids for 10 or 12 local legislators, and there's always a group from Mount Vernon that are there. And the third thing is, this Thursday I've got a day on the Hill, just on my own, with my own agenda. And then March 4th, I think it is the League of Leaders Day on the Hill that I think you have attended in the past, both of you, so I will be attending that come March 4th. One of my most recent communications to Representative Golding and Senator McClintock is regarding the community college concept of adding 4-year degrees there. We are one of 12 towns in the state of Iowa that have private college as a major employer, if not the major employer, and community colleges, all 15 of them, start giving about 4-year degrees. It loses the capacity for Cornell to attract students, and that's obviously a key part of our town here. So I have been communicating with our representatives, and we'll do that this Thursday with the people that I'm meeting with on the Hill, as well as the concept where the legislature is considering taxing or pulling a piece off of endowments from not only region schools, but also private schools, which I think is a little bit far-reaching. So hopefully that will not be considered much more, but the fact that it's been discussed already at the legislature concerns me. So that's my mayor's report. Any council reports? Committee reports? City administrator's report. Welcome back.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to thank the council for allowing me to participate in that process as president of our city managers group. Look forward to an excellent October ICMA International Conference in Long Beach. Was hard to come back. I don't know why. It was 80 degrees every day.
You want to hear that?
But
Thanks.
no, I very much appreciate allowing me to do that. A majority of the expenses are actually covered by the Iowa ICMA group, so but there's still obviously some expense in allowing me to be gone.
break week with work too, and things like that.
And he was working the whole time, the whole time.
You know, what's interesting, so they started, the city of Long Beach, so each of these conference cities, I didn't realize how much time they put in. They started almost 10 years ago, planning for this conference.
It's like the Olympics.
I know. It might be longer.
I think the unnerving part is that last year saw 5,400 city managers from across the world attend that conference.
That's a big conference.
10 years ago, it was under 3,000. So some of the venues that have been chosen, I mean, it is
Kind of start
We're
going.
crowded.
interesting. Yeah. But yeah, it's exciting. One thing I do want to point out, a little shout out to the representatives we met with from USS Iowa. That's probably all Iowa. Well, Iowa, Minnesota, they kind of hopped on with us on this one. So we're going to have a reception on the deck of the USS Iowa in October. And we got a personal tour. So a delegation from Iowa got a personal tour of the battleship. So that was quite intriguing.
Anything else that you want to rub in today?
No, but the point I was making, what I did not realize is
Council pass.
that museum does not receive federal funding. It is,
All private.
it is actually private in the state of Iowa, so that was kind of an intriguing concept we didn't realize when we first got the word. Otherwise, no, waiting for the state to decide what they're going to do with property tax.
I thought the highlight of your report was going to be the insurance rate.
You know, it's hard to beat. Last year's 0.87%, but cumulatively over the last 4 years, it's been 8% total.
There were years where it was 12 and 15.
The last 2 years before we made this jump, it was 18 to 25.
I mean, it's amazing. Kudos to staff on that.
I just literally.
Well,
Any other questions or comments? Anything else that needs to come before this council? Otherwise, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you for visiting.
It was.
I mean, just.
I haven't heard